Hi there, everyone. We're live. I just wanted to spend just a few minutes here in my studio with you, my friends on YouTube, talking about this wonderful medium of watercolor. I've been thinking a lot about what helped me grow my skills the most over the last 25 years. I've been painting for 25 years. And when I was first starting, I had no idea if what I was doing was the right thing to do, if I was learning efficiently, if I was moving in the right direction to become an artist with an individual personal style, to become the skilled artist I wanted to be. And here I am now, years later, teaching watercolor all over the world, helping thousands of students in my online courses. It's been so rewarding. I love seeing the lights come on, and I love seeing my students become artists in their own right, which has been happening, especially over these last few years, as students who have studied online with me for years are starting to really see the results pay off and grow these beautiful and amazing personal styles that reflect the heart of the artist. And that's really our goal, isn't it? To paint from the heart, because it's something in our hearts that brought us to paint watercolor in the first place. Now, if you're starting to paint and you want to grow and grow quickly, which I think we all want to do, there's something you can do that was going to help you. And I wanted to show you by switching over to my work surface here and giving you a look at some of the things I've been painting over the last few years. And then as we wrap this up, I'm going to tell you how you can join my free online beginner bootcamp, which is starting next week. And I'll give you instructions for that. The number one way I have found that I've grown my skills is through repetition. It's through being willing to paint the same thing to obsession. And that doesn't mean you have to be stuck with the same photo reference all the time. You can stay within a theme, maybe a subject theme, using the same colors repeatedly, working consistently so that you can grow your skill and confidence in one area and really start to feel like you have control or mastery over it. And then you apply those skills and techniques to your next skill that you want to master. So we're just going to take a look here. For a long time, I painted a lot of florals. And you'll see kind of a sameness about my florals, and yet each one is unique. Here I loved learning how to arrange several objects. We've got a large, medium, and a smaller shape here, and then negative painting to bring those yellows out and help them to glow. I use negative painting and playful color for this one. Different flower, but still this beautiful movement, a large object, and then smaller shapes kind of supporting it. I played with floral themes even when I wasn't painting flowers. This is just two colors, but I still feel like I see a flower in there, even though I left everything very soft. When I want to play with mark making, I worked my brush and I played with color and used the brush to suggest petal shapes. And for a long time when I was playing in my warm-ups, petal shapes and leaf shapes were what I painted. And so now they feel so natural to me because I've painted a leaf, that single brush stroke that signifies a leaf. I've painted it thousands of times. I tried out new techniques. This is a gouache and metallic ink, and there's parts of the painting that have been washed away. And then I got to come back in with that negative painting that I loved so much. And then this one I actually painted yesterday. And so revisiting my love for florals, for petal shapes and leaf shapes, and my more recent enjoyment of fine brush marks is bringing itself into the painting. And this just felt like beautiful therapy to paint as I revisited a subject that I've painted hundreds of times before. My floral techniques work themselves into a more abstract painting as well. It's not just flowers, but it's the kind of a floral-esque abstract that was created using the same brush strokes and colors that I fell in love with in previous paintings. Repetition helps so much to give you the confidence to attack a painting with some boldness. If you're always painting objects, colors, shapes that are unfamiliar to you, your brushstroke is going to reflect that. Watercolor is transparent, which means we see not just the layers as they go over top of each other. The bottom layers still show through, but it also shows the emotion of the artist. And if you're feeling worried or anxious, having a lack of confidence, that's revealed in how you handle your brush. It shows up on the paper. Once I started feeling like I maybe needed a change from florals, I moved to trees. And this was part of a larger goal of learning how to paint landscapes. And one thing I really struggled with in my landscapes was how to make the trees fit into the landscape and not look really stiff and awkward. And so I spent a lot of time in my warm-ups playing with trees. This is an evergreen tree that I painted, and it's the star of the show. It's really just a single object painting. I love the drama and power of it. I spent a lot of time painting the other primary kind of tree we have in my region here in northern British Columbia, the aspen tree or poplars. They're just a pretty simple tree. Birch trees also work for this subject, and I painted birch and aspen and poplar over and over and over and over again. I learned how to simplify it. I learned how to paint imaginary trees. And as I developed those skills, I grew in my ability to paint them in lots of different colors and still have kind of a connection to all those different elements. And so, and I really actually like this one. I always think of it as my Halloween forest because of the dark blacks and oranges in that, which are not a common color pattern for me. But because I was so comfortable painting trees, it was easy for me then to bring in new colors that I wasn't comfortable with because I had this foundation of confident mark making for my trees. I could then experiment with a new color and not feel like I was starting over completely from scratch. So as I'm sharing with you the way I repeat myself, I have to tell you, over the last few months, I've been teaching myself how to paint urban scenes, how to paint buildings, and the urban landscape. And that's been a huge learning curve because there's so many elements there. But as I've grown as an artist, my ability to teach myself how to paint a new subject has grown. But it found its foundation in painting one single object really well. Painting florals, painting fruit, painting trees, painting water when I wanted to grow my skills in painting water, painting skies. Again, repetition helped me. Painting the same thing. Often it was the same reference photo 5 to 7 times. In fact, this painting, which has a lot of glare on it, I painted that particular scene 12 times over the other shoulder. That one, you can just barely see it. I'm scratching it. That one is actually the same reference photo as that one with all the glare. So we see that repetition can paint a whole series of amazing paintings based on the same reference photo, and then I have stronger skills to bring to the next subject. I wanted to tell you all this just to encourage you. Sometimes you'll put a lot of hours into a new painting and you don't want to touch that subject again, and that is okay. But spend time thinking of ways that you can repeat elements of what you're learning so that you can grow confident in those areas. Once that one area becomes second nature, really comfortable for you, it's so much easier to then pile something new on top of that and bring in something new to learn. And then you have all of these confident pieces you can pull together in more complex paintings down the road. I hope that's an encouragement to you. I want to tell you a little bit about my upcoming watercolor boot camp. And we're just going to have kind of a crash course in watercolor, learning watercolor. If you're just getting started and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, this is the place for you. There is a link below in the description for this video so that you can sign up and reserve your space in that workshop. It is online, January 30th, 31st, and February 1st. We're just going to do an hour lesson each day each of those 3 days. We're going to talk about supplies, how to choose watercolor supplies with confidence and not waste your money. The basic stuff you're going to need. I'm going to demonstrate basic watercolor techniques so you can see them in action, and I'm going to tell you when to use them because it's no good to know the technique if you have no idea how it's applied to make your painting come together. We're going to talk a bit about color mixing and how to work with just a few colors rather than I know I have 100 plus in my studio here, but you only need a few to make beautiful paintings. I'm going to show you a few watercolor special effects that are really fun to play with. We're going to talk about how much water to use and learning how to anticipate what the paint is going to do depending on how wet your brush and paper are. and we're going to explore the different stages of developing a painting. If that sounds like something that you might enjoy, I'd love for you to sign up. The link is below in the description below the video. It is free to join. If you are working or not available during the time of the broadcast, you will get a link to the recording. It's not something that you have to be there to watch. Although if you are there, you can ask questions and share any burning questions that you've had regarding this idea of being a beginner in watercolor. And if you're a more advanced student and you want to grow professionally, I have all kinds of resources for that in my Fearless Artist community. And you can find out about that at learn.angelafair.com. So thanks for joining me today. If you are thinking about this idea of working in a theme, what I'd love for you to do, I'm just going to give you a small assignment. Go into your past paintings, the things you've worked on, pull them out, take a look at them, and look for maybe a repeated theme that's already there. You might be surprised at what you've already been working on and how you've developed, and it will help you plan how you can direct your growth for this year as you continue to paint and want to grow your skills. Thanks for watching. I will see you at the Watercolor Bootcamp on January 30th. Bye for now.